Golden Glass. A Lego Monkey Kid fanfiction written by Jukebox Straws. Read by Jukebox Straws. Chapter 5. Sleepover. Kai sat on the couch in their apartment the next day, staring at the messages on their phone. They nervously tugged on their tail, horror coursing through their veins as they couldn't take their eyes away from the screen. There were several photos, a bit blurry, but it was obvious that it was photos of themselves and Macaque. "I know where you are," the message afterwards said. "I know about him. You're mine. I'm going to kill him." Kai kept rereading that last message over and over. "I'm going to kill him." The copper-haired monkey disgustedly dropped their phone and tugged at their hair, the early signs of a panic attack seeping in. They didn't hear the knock on their door, and they didn't hear the doorbell ringing several times. Macaque tried the doorknob, but it was locked. "Kai, you home?" Macaque knocked again. Kai had to be home. They said they would be. This was the agreed time they had discussed. "Kai?" His ears twitched as he heard what sounded like crying on the other side of the door. He slammed himself against it. "Kai, are you okay?" He panicked and portaled himself through the door quickly. Sometimes his shadow powers really were a lifesaver. "Shit!" Macaque ran to his hysterical partner, pulling them into his arms and holding them tight. "Kai, are you okay? What happened?" he asked, cupping their face in his hands. Kai sniffed and immediately became relieved to see that their boyfriend was okay. Macaque, they choked out, holding desperately onto his hands. Macaque's blood ran cold at the mention of him. He didn't even know the guy's name, but the way Kai spoke was more than enough to indicate that they were talking about their ex-partner. "What happened? Did he come here? Did he do something to you?" The shadow demon immediately began to inspect Kai for wounds. Kai shook their head and looked over at their phone, the messages still glowing bright on the screen. Macaque took the phone and looked at it. His ears drooped further with each photo and message he read. "He's fucking stalking you?" He had to stop himself from crushing the phone in his grip. He set it down on the table and pulled Kai into another hug. It's okay," he reassured his whimpering partner. "I think you should come live at my place for a while," he said. "I don't think you're safe here." Kai nodded. They gripped Macaque's sleeves and looked up into his eyes. But he's targeting you," they said. "I don't want to put a bigger bullseye on your back." "Babe." Macaque brushed a thumb over Kai's cheek, getting rid of the tears. "I don't give a fuck what he thinks he's gonna pull. I'm the six-eared macaque." He wiggled his ears. "I can hear him from a mile away. I promise, you're safest with me. I won't let him touch you." "I promise," he reassured them. Kai quickly gathered Kygo and a few personal belongings before Macaque portaled them back to his home, not willing to risk the walk if the messages were a setup. "Mr. Macaque?" Bai got up from playing Barbies with one of the shadow clone babysitters. "What's wrong?" She could sense that he was uneasy. "Nothing, kiddo," he said. "Kai had some stuff come up, and they're going to be staying here for a few days in the guest room." "Like a sleepover?" Bai said, bouncing with glee. Kai smiled softly. "Yeah, like a sleepover," they said, giving Bai a pat. Macaque and Kai went upstairs to the spare room that the shadow monkey mostly used for storage. With the help of some clones and a decent feather duster, the room was quickly made inhabitable again, and Kai settled in. "This is just temporary," Macaque said. "I promise I'll find that creep and make sure they stay as far away from you as possible." "Macaque," Kai held his hand. "Thank you so much for everything. You don't have to do this." "Of course I have to do this." He planted a kiss on their cheek. "You're my amazingly awesome partner, after all. I'd be an idiot to let you get hurt." The rest of the afternoon was mostly quiet. Kai, still trying to take time to process anything, distracted themselves by playing with Bai. They got to witness Macaque's girl voice, which was just his normal voice at a slightly higher pitch, with an added Valley Girl accent that made Kai nearly snort laughing. Once Bai had been safely put to bed, Kai and Macaque decided to hit the hay. "Can I stay with you?" they asked. "I don't really want to sleep by myself tonight." "Of course." Macaque led them to his bedroom. "Sorry about the mess. I didn't expect you to come over." He picked up a few records off the floor. Kai giggled at the many musical theater posters that were hastily taped onto the walls. The bed was more nest than actual bed, blankets and scarves all stuffed together into a pile with an indent in the center that was suspiciously macaque-shaped. "I don't mind." Kai followed Macaque into bed, curling up against him and yawning. The shadow demon rested his chin on top of their head and held them close. "Mac," they lifted their head a bit. "I love you," they said softly. Macaque let out a soft chuckle. "I love you too." To be continued in Chapter 6.